Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I have to make this video as an update for the NFL 2021 draft. Apparently, things are just happening literally the day before, so this will be the final predict the pick. I have no choice but to make this because Panthers decided to make a trade with the Broncos that changes literally probably everything about the draft. So I have to do this just to keep up to date with my predict the pick. So everyone's gonna have to ignore the last one. Maybe we could compare the two and see which one was actually more accurate, but I'm assuming that this is gonna be the more accurate one just based off of the stupid trade that just happened literally the day before. Today's the 28th, the draft's the 29th. What a fucking shit show, right? So today, obviously, you know, I'm a Ravens fan. If you don't know who I am, my name is Braven, and I'm a Twitch streamer. I'm a competitive esports player and I stream part of Team Razor. Just trying to make content out there for competitive gaming like Warzone and stuff like that. But that's besides all the fact and all the point. What I'm trying to do here is really try to make content and have fun times too, which is why a special thing is with this new overlay setup. For those that do know me, this is all new computer wipe and everything, but we are definitely trying to do new things like football. I'm a big football fan and I'm always researching stuff, so this is why I kind of want to do something like this special. But again, this is just an update from what I've already done. You can go check my last video, just uploaded it's literally been less than 24 hours since it's been uploaded, but we're doing an update. Hopefully we can just skim through this quick, but we're going to use Pro Football Focus's draft simulator. If you want to do that yourself and make one yourself and compare, let me know. Like in the comments. Comment in the comments, like and subscribe would be appreciated. Because I'm sorry, I'm so tired. You can see I just threw clothes on, was like, all right, let's fucking do this. I'm so tired right now. But we're gonna knock this out and just try to run through it real quick while we have a little bit of time, because I got to get ready for work and whatnot. So hopefully this draft will be fun. Hopefully it's not throwing any more curveballs at us, but I think we're kind of set in stone. And let me just, before we do that, I want to verify on Instagram of the updates. Yeah. They see everyone's finally updating the mock draft. It looks like nothing new has popped up, so that's good. So this is probably that was probably the trade before the draft. So now we're gonna hop into this and try to make this as fun as possible. So let's get to it, baby, shall we? Let me just verify too. Yes, we are perfectly on the spot. Now, we used the same thing yesterday and to make this draft, so now we're going to do this again. Another thing that we talked about in the last draft is that we're going to force trades for the first round. This is our first round mock draft. We're going to force trades, which means that we're just going to do a certain trade. Like, say, if I do the Jaguars and the Jets, it would only just be the 1 and 2. It won't be any extra value because that's just too hard to predict. So what I'm going to do specifically is just trade what's, like, reasonable, that I can see reasonable in the first round, and everything else is obviously going to be a variable that we're not going to include. So by all means, I think that's good. I think we're going to be good with that. So obviously with the first start of the draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock, and I'm still going to stick with my first pick, Trevor Lawrence. I think it just makes sense with Urban Meyer trying to build that offense up, and that's the center stone of it. I think what they're going to do is make it an offensive powerhouse, or at least try to go for that goal with this pick. So that's also going to hinder into the later picks as well, obviously in the first round. Jets are on the clock. I think this pick still stands for the most part. I'm not going to switch it up on that, but I'm definitely thinking that the Jets still go with Zach Wilson. I know people are leaning towards Justin Fields to see if they build it up around that style. I can see that, but this is where the first 3 picks are going to be very interesting. Obviously, the first pick's pretty much guaranteed, but the second and third pick is what's going to really throw people off. The 49ers, I mean, again, like, I still want to say Justin Fields just because Justin Fields feels like something that they might just kind of throw like as a starter-ready quarterback at him. But something tells me about these 2 teams right here that they're building based off of the coaching staff and how they want to run things, and that makes me lean more to Mac Jones because of that reason. So I still think 49ers have a lot leaning on Mac Jones, and they see a lot of growth with him. That could be honestly anything, and that's what throws this whole draft into a loophole because we really don't know what's going to happen. So oh, and also too, this is like on the fly, but I'm also comparing to what I did last time for the last draft, so we're just going to kind of bear with me on that one. The Falcons are on the clock, and I did say Falcons traded out with the Cowboys to get Kyle Pitts. And the reason why is because I could see a bunch of teams moving up to try to get Kyle Pitts. There's rumors now saying that the Lions want to trade up to get Jamar Chase, but I just don't see Jamar Chase being somebody that they can move up to, or they'd be willing to move up and grab, except for the Bengals. But I feel like the Bengals are kind of set on Penei Sewell. So in this, I'm still going to go based off the same situation as last time. And I'm going to say that the Falcons trade with the Dallas Cowboys. And again, we're just going to do a forced trade. So we're only going to show only the just first 2 rounds traded. We're not going to show any actual value in this. So the Cowboys still get on the clock, and they went and grab Kyle Pitts. I think they move up to grab Kyle Pitts to be safe. Bengals, once again, Penei Sewell. It's just a big need for them. I mean, they could go get Jamar Chase, but I just don't see why they would go after Jamar Chase when there's plenty of wide receivers in the draft, and they still got a bunch of receivers on the team. I think that's because of like the contracts and stuff that they're kind of worried about, but I don't think that. I think they just kind of settle on protecting Joe Burrow. I think that's the most important thing to them. So Penei Sewell goes out, and then obviously the Dolphins are on the clock. They got the trade from Philly. I was saying on the last one that the Dolphins go in, and it's either Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater, so I'm sticking to that. They're going to get Rashawn Slater. I know that when I did it last time, Pro Football Focus didn't really like that, but I just think that's the most important need for them to protect Tua, and I think they're going to build around that. So Lions don't need to do anything. They get their player, Jamar Chase. I think that's their goal. They want Jamar Chase. Again, these all smoke and mirror rumors and stuff. I'm kind of not really basing off them. I'm just kind of going, maybe that's an idea, but I'm not holding on to it. Now, the Panthers did give up. This is where it gets interesting because the Panthers did give up a 6th-round pick. I'm sorry. The Broncos gave up a 6th-round pick to get Teddy Bridgewater. That was the trade with the Broncos and the Panthers, which is very crazy because now it makes me assume that Panthers actually are sold on a quarterback. And now when I look at the quarterbacks, it's really hard to say because they got Sam Darnold, but who would they go with to grab to protect them on a quarterback situation just in case Sam Darnold don't work out? They might be writing all on Sam Darnold. This is where it gets very intricate, but my assumption is it's going to be most likely Justin Fields. So I'm going to switch it, and I think they're going to grab Justin Fields. I think they might see something that other people don't see. And Justin Fields can kind of be like, it's like a Sam Darnold, Justin Fields like kind of combination. I could see both being like similar in play style. Definitely an interesting one. But now we got the Broncos on the clock. I can see Broncos now officially trading down from this pick, but they could also get Christian Darrisaw since they picked up Teddy Bridgewater and have that quarterback competition with Drew Lock. And I've been saying that since the last prediction too. I've been saying Drew Lock might be that guy that might be the corner piece of that offense that they want to work around, but they might try to be safe and pick up a quarterback. So last time I said they'll pick up Justin Fields to be NFL ready, but now I think Panthers want Justin Fields, and I think Broncos are going to either rely on those two quarterbacks to see what happens in this year. Maybe they don't trust the quarterback situation. So I think they're going to go based outside of that, and they do need linebackers. So I think Micah Parsons could be the pick here, but I don't know if they really want Micah Parsons at that value. They might trade out of it. But from what I'm looking at in the sake of the draft, they could even get a wide receiver like Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. But it's really hard to say. It's really, really hard to say. So I'm going to go based off of my assumption. I'm going to think they're going to go linebacker and get Micah Parsons. I just truly think that they don't have a need any more than that. And I don't think the trade value, I don't see a team trading up. Now that I see the Patriots kind of getting worried there, but at the same time, like after the Broncos did that trade, I think they're not too worried anymore about quarterback. They think that Trey Lance is going to land right to them still. And that's truly what could happen here. But now the Dolphins are on the clock. They got their trade value. We said Patrick Surtain. I think that sticks. Just they need cornerback, and cornerback has a good piece right there. It's a really good quarterback. They have he has a lot of potential to be a big time star, so that's why they're looking at him like that. The Giants on the clock now. The Giants have Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. This is where it starts throwing things off because when I said with the Giants before that they might be wanting to get Waddle, based off of the Eagles wanting a wide receiver, but guess what? This is why it gets crazy because now I think Devontae Smith is there and he is a star wide receiver from Alabama. I think they go with Devontae Smith. Definitely a good pickup, especially to shore up that offensive scheme. And again, it's going to be like what Kenny Golladay and the other, I always forget his name, the other star. He's like the number one wide receiver, but Devontae Smith being that rotational piece and possibly be taken over due to contracts. I think Devontae Smith could be that pick, especially because the best available. You can't go passing him up. Now, the Eagles on the clock. We did say Eagles would go get Micah Parsons. Now, that's changed. Micah Parsons wouldn't be there. I think I said Micah Parsons, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly what I put for the Eagles. But I definitely do think now that Waddle's available, Waddle goes. Waddle goes. Very easy on that one. And now, this is where it gets interesting because it could have been a trade. Like, the Eagles could have traded the Vikings up over the Chargers so the Vikings can get their offensive tackle that they want. But now I think this goes back to what a lot of people have been predicting, and I think it makes more sense now. I think the Chargers go get Christian Darrisaw, and then the Vikings go and get Elijah Vera Tucker. I think the role switch, trade value doesn't happen, and then Elijah Vera Tucker's off the board. So both tackles are gone, Christian Darrisaw and Elijah Vera Tucker. And this is where it gets back to the Patriots. Trey Lance. gone. I think they just write off Trey Lance's potential. And obviously, he's similar to Cam Newton in a style of the way they play. But obviously, Cam Newton's a bigger guy. So Cam Newton, they're going to ride and make that playbook around Cam Newton. But Cam Newton's gone. Trey Lance takes over. Pretty similar, pretty straightforward. We'll see, though. It just seems like more of a Bill Belichick style to try to win now before, he retires. Cardinals, again, Christian Barmore was the pick before, and I don't think anything changes here. I don't really see anything other changing than that. So Christian Barmore is more of a safe pick. The Raiders on the clock. Again, the tackles are gone. The guards are not really a guard worth the first round pick. Cornerback and safety. People have been saying a lot about J.C. Horn. I've seen a lot of people saying about Greg Newsome, Caleb Farley. I could see Caleb Farley being the pick, but I think they rate J.C. Horn a little higher than both these. I think he's more developmental, but also Greg Newsome. It's like Greg Newsome and J.C. Horn have been the two that I've been looking at the most for the Raiders, and I think that still stands. I can still see Caleb Farley being in the mix, but I just truly think J.C. Horn just has the better potential, and I think they want to build around that. So J.C. Horn goes to the Raiders. Dolphins are on the clock. Dolphins got Rashawn Slater, so they don't need a tackle anymore. So now that that happened, I could definitely see a team moving up to try to get a top player. Like Rashad Bateman's still there, and Rashad Bateman is a big time receiver that at least a lot of people are rating pretty high. And I could definitely see a team moving up to get him. Because right now you got the Bears and the Washington football team that both probably would want Bateman. I think they would rely on either or for Bateman or Farley. I think the Bears actually wouldn't trade up on the fact that they would probably just land whoever they can land at this spot. I know they need a wide receiver pretty bad, except for I think Allen Robinson's still there, and he's a really great star. So I think they'll be willing to settle for someone a little lesser of the evils there. So I would think that no trade happens between these two, but then it comes down to the Colts and the Titans, and you could even look at the Jets moving up. It all depends. If we have to take a little bit of time to look at this, because there's a lot of teams that right here, like the Saints, it says they need wide receiver. I know the Packers need a wide receiver. Do the Packers move up and get Bateman? Do something crazy? It's a different Packers style. It's a different Packers war room, but I think they're similar to what they do. It's really hard to say. This is one of the harder picks because I think the Dolphins can shop value here, and I know they're willing to shop value here. But my problem is, who do they shop value at? They already got their tackle. So now what? So they need a defensive end too, and that's a very important role. There's quite a bit of defensive ends that they could choose from. So this is where I think the trade value comes down to. And I'm assuming right now that someone's going to want a fucking wide receiver at that high level. But I think it doesn't come from Washington or Chicago. I truly think they both stay. So this one's really tricky. I could see the Colts going after a wide receiver such as Elijah Moore or Terrace Marshall even. I could see those two for sure, but I could also see the Titans going after Elijah Moore. So I think if they have a feeling that based off of Elijah Moore being gone by the Colts, this is how it gets really crazy. Azeez Ojulari is there for a defensive end, so there's definitely trade value for this Dolphins team. This is where it gets very intricate. I'm going to go based off of a team that wants a certain player right away. And actually, you know what? I think I see the perfect trade, and I really think this might happen. I think the Dolphins trade with the Ravens, and the Ravens move up. And I'm going to say this is just the wild card pick of the trade, because I truly think that the Ravens will trade the farm for it. So, obviously, the Ravens will trade the 2 first-round picks, and then they will trade down or whatever. They'll use that 31st pick as trade value. Oh, I got to force the trade. Forgot. So, the Ravens are on the clock, and the Dolphins get 2 first-round picks extra to stock up on. That's going to be the wild card. I think that's going to be the most wild one. But the reason why is because all these wide receivers could be picked up, and I think Ravens are very sold on a wide receiver. I don't know how they think about Rashad Bateman, but I think that's the curveball that everyone's going to be looking at, so I think they go get Bateman. I think Bateman's going to be that weird pick that everyone goes after. I know they need tackle, but there's a really deep tackle situation going on here. There's going to be a lot that drop down. So for the Bears now, the Bears have options here. They could trade out of it, but obviously it plays out exactly how they didn't want it to play out, in the sense that they lost out on Rashad Bateman. So now I feel like Washington could trade down for value. I don't see a whole lot of trade options, though, that people would take up on that, especially with the player base being there. So I think what they do is take the best available left, and that's Elijah Moore. So I think they're going to go out and get Elijah Moore, wide receiver, just in case. And then obviously with the Bears, played it out, just let it roll, and they get their man, Caleb Farley. Same thing, but just a little different. And then now it gets a little, like I said, this is why I need to redo it, because everything starts going out of whack. So now the Colts are on the clock. They need a tackle, and they need a defensive end and a wide receiver. However, I think the wide receiver position, I think they could address later. Terrace Marshall's still there. They're pretty interested in a wide receiver. But as you can see, there's some wide receivers they could get later on too. Kadarius Toney's down there. You got De'Ami Brown that could probably jump up on later on. This is where it gets a little intricate, but obviously tackle's a big important thing. And then you got Walker Little there. They kind of want to shore up that offense to try to build around that. Defensive end is something they could go, but that's really deep. They could get a really top end defensive end right now. So in my personal opinion, I think they do just go shop at the highest of defensive ends, and Kwity Paye is being rated the highest. I think it could be a good fit for him. And I definitely think they do go that route. I think they would go wide receiver too, but I think since the wide receiver is pretty deep, defensive end is pretty deep too. But I just think with Kwity Paye being on the board, and you don't get a really good option later on if he's there or not. So maybe you just shore up that defense more. And they're definitely building around that defense a lot better, but that offense definitely needs work too. With the Titans, it's really hard to say. Wide receiver, I think Elijah Moore is gone. Yeah, Elijah Moore was just gone. So now you got that was supposed to be a Ole Miss combination that I was working with on the last one, but now that he's gone, you probably have to go and just get someone that could help you just in case. Terrace Marshall's there. You got Rondell Moore. I don't see Rondell Moore being as high of value because of his height, but having two big guys out there to catch balls and stuff, I would say Terrace Marshall could be a good pick here. They do need a tackle. Walker Little's on the board. Safe pick is Walker Little for the most part. This one I'm having a toss-up on because I want to say Terrace Marshall or Walker Little. I'm going to say between those two, it looks pretty promising. But I'm going to go based off of the hype around Terrace Marshall. I think they jumped the gun on that, and they're going to go Terrace Marshall. Just in case, just, be sure about the offensive weapons there for Ryan Tannehill. Jets are on the clock. Now, Jets have plenty of options for defensive end. Jason Oweh's still there. Jalen Phillips is still there too. The Dolphins traded down. I think the Dolphins are just kind of riding out on who's left for the defensive ends, and they're going to pick one up. So I think what happens with the Jets is they go and get the best available, and I think they really have high hopes on Jason Oweh. So I think they're going to go based off that to get Jason Oweh. Again, the Steelers, same thing kind of stays with them. They still have their man on the board, Tevin Jenkins. I think they just sold on that tackle for sure to help out, especially in the last runnings of Ben Roethlisberger's career. I think they're going to try to run on a highly touted tackle. So especially fits the mold too. Jaguars. Now, Jaguars need tight end, tackle, safety. Again, in the last draft, I said that they were going to go all in on trying to build up around that offense, and I think they still do that. Trayvon Moehrig is dropping significantly, and it's really hard to let him go any more deeper than this. But I'm assuming that they're going to just let it drop some more, and I think they're going to go play the safe pick and build around that offense and get Walker Little. Especially because tackles are now leaving the board and they don't want to miss out on a tackle. Safety's kind of important, but it's on the back end. Browns are on the clock. Defensive ends going like crazy now. They're kind of getting nervous. They do want a star defensive end. I did say linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah last time. Now I'm starting to assume that he drops, and the reason why is because I think defensive end they want to build around that Myles Garrett and that fucking heavy defense. They want to make that special. Linebacker is important, don't get me wrong, but defensive end is a little bit more of a need for them. And so I think maybe an Azeez Ojulari could be a pick. I know Jalen Phillips keeps dropping, but I think the reason why is because I think they have more high hopes of Azeez Ojulari than Jalen Phillips. And I just truly think they think that he's going to be a star more over them. And it just looks like more of a Browns pick anyways. And then now we get to the Dolphins. Dolphins got so much value out of this draft. It's ridiculous. So now I think they go in and get their man Jalen Phillips out of Miami. I think they've just built around that defensive end. It drops to them perfectly. They'll be fine with either or. And I'm pretty sure that Phillips, I mean, I can see both players on that team. But I just think with it being a Miami thing, I could definitely see that happening. Baltimore gets that crazy trade because of that first two rounds. They just knocked it up and went up. I know they provide the Ravens like more value, but putting 2 first rounds on there and then getting the farm for later rounds makes more sense. That's why that trade happened, in my opinion. I don't know. It's a hypothetical one, obviously, with this prediction, but we'll see. And then obviously you got the Saints on the clock. Now, wide receiver, you got Rondell Moore. I mean, I don't think Rondell Moore is very important to them. Trayvon Moehrig is still there. It's the best available. You can't really go wrong with that, but I still think he's going to drop significantly. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah looks like more of a promising prospect for the Saints, and I think they do jump the gun on Jeremiah Owusu. So, I said Asante Samuel on the last draft, but Asante Samuel I could just see still dropping, and then some team's gonna pick him up based off of that family heritage. Greg Newsome's still there too. Wow, it's this is how crazy this draft could get. I'm truly shocked that these two players haven't been picked up yet in my personal prediction, because of the fact that like it's a very shocking situation how that happens. I know that Ravens smoke mirrored the Dylan Redun's pick, and I think he drops a bit, but somebody's gonna pick him up. Maybe even like Dolphins might shore up that tackle spot. I don't know yet. We'll see, but it's very interesting what's going to happen here with the Packers on the clock. I think the Packers need to get a receiver, though. They need somebody to help out with Devontae Adams. They want somebody like a taller player, you know, someone that has like height and a little bit of hands. De'Ami Brown's a big option. Kadarius Toney's another option too. I just see Kadarius Toney being more of a pick now. Rondell Moore is just a small guy. I think he plays like a slot role. I don't think they really need that. I think they already got pretty decent slot role depth. This one's very intriguing because now when you look at the top players in the position, Zavin Collins is there as a linebacker. That could be a potential pick too. Gregory Rousseau drops. It's hard to say. They even need cornerback too, but based off of what I'm seeing, Kadarius Toney, wide receivers are going like candy in this draft, and I could see Kadarius Toney being that pick, but I hard to say. I really truly don't know. I'm gonna go based off of best available, but also like the potential to fit in that role of the Packers. And I think Asante Samuel might be just a big jump up in a pick that you can't pass up on. And Greg Newsome too, but I think Greg Newsome's more developmental, so I think more of a safe cornerback pick. They'll go with Asante Samuel. I think that's like the biggest random pick for that team, but they're in a win now state, and I think building up the defense just a little bit more will help. And then they'll just hit a wide receiver in the later rounds and try to develop. It just sounds like a Packers thing. I know it's a different head office. I could definitely see them going after a Kadarius Toney, but maybe Kadarius Toney just drops out some more. I don't know. Maybe people aren't writing on him as high as that he truly has value for. So we'll see. The Bengals. The Bills are on the clock, and the Bills have cornerback Greg Newsome still there. They need a defensive end, but how do you pass up Greg Newsome dropping that low? I think they're going to go after and get Greg Newsome. They're not going to let him sit any longer. Dolphins on the clock. I can see Dolphins even trading out of this and some team moving up. And honestly, actually, you know what? I'm going to say that happens. Because I'm going to say the Baltimore Ravens make another crazy jump in trade, which it's not even allowing me to. Is it? Oh, there it is. So I'm gonna say that just, you know, obviously it's a forced trade hypothetically, but I'm gonna think Baltimore Ravens come back up to the trade, get back that pick. It's gonna be one of those crazy draft things. I could see that definitely happening for sure, and the reason why is because Dylan Redun's is there, and obviously if the Buccaneers see Dylan Redun's, they might want to protect Tom Brady some more. You can't go wrong with adding depth, and especially at that high of a level. I think they do ride that rumor out, and they do come back up and get Dylan Redun's with some trade value, lose some picks out. They come back in. They still get 2 picks. And then the Buccaneers come in on the clock. It says they need quarterback, but let's be real here. They're not really going to shop quarterback unless it's a later round. They might actually get Kyle Trask or something if they think that like he's going to be a good potential star behind Tom Brady when he develops. Obviously, right here, the Bucs let Trayvon Moehrig drop no more based off the fact that they could use that safety depth. They still want to build that defense up. And Trayvon Moehrig has dropped way too far. And his value's high, but I don't think anyone's riding that value out. I think they can see that he's going to drop based off of positional needs for every team. I think Trayvon Moehrig comes in and takes the final spot. Now, with the ratings, again, I got hit with a D with the Dolphins with Rashawn Slater. That's just typical at this point. Oh, they rated this actually a lot better than my last one, though. Well, yeah, they rated this a lot better than my last pick, A+ for the Trayvon Moehrig. They got fucking hella value there. So I think perfect what happened there. We'll run through it one more time just so I could get done with this and upload it. Trayvon Lawrence to the Jaguars. Again, Urban Meyer's build. Zach Wilson fits the coaching scheme of style that they want to do with New York. Mac Jones, again, something with the coach there. They just want to build up around that style, and Mac Jones fits the mold. Kyle Pitts gets moved up. He's too much of a risk factor to go to another team. Everyone's really hyped up on Kyle Pitts. Like, they think he's a sensational tight end, the next star. So the Cowboys say, fuck that, we're going to get him. Penei Sewell, safe pick for the Bengals. Again, just he's a highly touted tackle, but obviously needs development a little bit. But but he's definitely could be the biggest star out there in terms of being a tackle, so they go after him, Bengals, to protect Joe Burrow. Rashawn Slater, again, Dolphins just play it safe. They want to tackle to protect Tua. I know they rate this as a bad pick, but I just truly think that Dolphins rather be safe than sorry. I don't think they really would rather go after Jamar Chase. They could go after Jamar Chase and just to have a star wide receiver, but I just think Rashawn Slater, for some reason, is just a safer pick. Jamar Chase falls to the Lions. You know, I would rather see Waddle or Smith there, but that's because it's just the way the play scheme is around Jared Goff. We'll see what happens, but most likely best available, another Megatron type player that they look at, so we'll see. The Panthers get Justin Fields based off the fact that they just traded Teddy Bridgewater over to the Broncos. And again, I think Broncos are riding on Drew Lock, so I think they didn't want to draft a quarterback at all in the get-go. I think they were just going to bring in Teddy Bridgewater for next to nothing and have him as a backup. So Justin Fields comes in and could quarterback battle with Sam Darnold. Broncos come in, get Micah Parsons, just shore up that defense some more, definitely helps. Falcons, they get that trade down, they still get Patrick Surtain, perfect trade value there. The rumor was true, they shopped it, that's what I'm going based off of. The Giants, now this could be either or. I think Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle could be the pick here, but I just think they ride on the Heisman version of a wide receiver for the hopes of having a star for Daniel Jones. And then the Eagles get still one of the wide receivers, so it kind of plays out in their favor. They get Jalen Waddle. Chargers get their tackle they wanted all along that they saw from the get-go, Christian Darrisaw. I just truly see that. And then the Vikings play it safe, get a tackle that's definitely safe, a safe tackle pick, Alijah Vera-Tucker. Patriots get Trey Lance. Again, it's one of those things where like backup Cam Newton, obviously, and if Cam Newton don't pan out, you still built a playbook around Cam Newton, so Trey Lance fits that mold as well, and it's a safe pick. Definitely can see them doing that. I don't see any trade-up. I don't see Bill Belichick doing that. Christian Barmore, Arizona Cardinals, inside defensive lineman, just a safe pick for that defense, shore it up a little bit, make that defense something special. The Raiders get J.C. Horn, same pick as the last one too, a developmental cornerback, but he's still like a top tier one that could be a potential star. Definitely just seems like a Raiders pick either way. Like one, developmental, they love that shit, and then two, that they could just see that like if they could develop this prospect, Horn's gonna be a star. So definitely in their way of the way they pick, I think I see that the best. Ravens trade up 2 first-rounders and a bunch of the farm to get Rashad Bateman because they're worried about I can see the Washington football team getting Bateman or the Bears. I can see a lot of people doing that, but I think they have something highly touted around Rashad Bateman, and I think it does help out with that wide receiver need. That's like a really, really important need, especially after they brought in Sammy Watkins and then they got Hollywood Brown. Rashad Bateman could be that guy that, like, you know, if one of them don't pan out or if one of them is starting to fall off, they don't want to pay the money to him, then Rashad Bateman's a good backup. And obviously he could be potential star as well. I don't see him being a potential star. I see him just being a safe wide receiver. That's what's my opinion. Elijah Moore, Washington missed out on their wide receiver they wanted, so Elijah Moore is just a safe wide receiver pick. More like probably going to be for depth. We'll see what happens. I can see them getting defense too here, but I know they want to build that defense up strong, so this is really a toss-up. I'm just going to say they go play it safe with wide receiver. They want to help build that offense up a little bit, and then obviously, you got to worry about the factors of the defensive mold. Caleb Farley, safe pick for the Bears. They were just riding on any of those players. I think Caleb Farley drops to them, they take them. Kwity Paye goes to the Colts, defensive end, very simple. Fits the team well. They get the best available defensive end. You can't let yourself not miss out on a top player, and I think they see Kwity Paye as being a top player, especially a safe one too for sure, but could be a star. The Titans kind of just need a wide receiver, and they're kind of looking at somebody to help A.J. Brown out, and it looks like Terrace Marshall's that guy now. I mean, they missed out. They need a wide receiver, and they don't want to miss out any more wide receivers, so they just go after and get a big boy to help out and catch the balls. Jason Owe, defensive end for the Jets. Again, another similar pick. Jason Owe fits the mold of the Jets, what they want to do, and again, they don't want to miss out on a high-end defensive end either. It just makes sense. Tevin Jenkins, something I just think the Steelers have been watching this whole time. I don't know, something just tells me it's Tevin Jenkins. I know Walker Little's there, could be Walker Little, but I just think the way Tevin Jenkins plays is going to fit the way they're trying to build that offense up for the Steelers, so it's a good pick. I'm not gonna lie, it's still a good pick no matter what. So Walker Little, I think there's something about him not playing for a couple years or something, so it's kind of a gamble. But again, he's fresh, so something about having a fresh player ready for a fresh team makes sense to me, especially with Urban Meyer trying to build up. He's probably gonna try to make an all-star offense off this draft, and we'll see what happens. They got some pieces in, but obviously it's a young team, so we'll see what happens. The Browns get Azeez Ojulari. I think they skip out on Jalen Phillips. It could be either or. I think Azeez Ojulari just fits more of the Browns style of pick. And they just go and get their man. Simple as that. Build that defense up. Try to make that defense a powerhouse. Jalen Phillips goes to the Dolphins. They do need a defensive end, and I do see them playing it safe with Miami's Miami connection. And Jalen Phillips can show promise as a star, and I think they ride off that. So that'd be nice to see. Saints, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Again, he's a big guy. Definitely has high potential. I definitely see them shoring up that defense a little bit and getting a potential star. I know that he's a developmental project, but again, they picked up somebody in a draft a while ago, and he was a developmental project. I think it was Davenport, and he ended up panning out pretty well. So I think they're seeing that same potential in Koramoah, and they're going to shore up that linebacker position. Packers. Now, Packers is going to be the biggest toss-up for me in terms of, like, besides obviously the trade I did here, but the Packers is going to be the biggest toss-up on what they do, because the Packers, with the way they think now, is very confusing. But I just think when you see Asante Samuel Jr. still sitting on the board and you're not riding high on a prospect like Greg Newsome, I think they're going to go based off of the skill, the family tree, all of that, and coming to a historical team. So I think Asante Samuel Jr. ends up being the pick, helps the defense out a little bit, and I think they just shop that value. Again, with the way they work with receivers, I could see them getting a late-round receiver to try to develop. It's just kind of still fits the mold of the Packers way, but I know they're a little different, so I think it still stick to that kind of standard and go after Asante Samuel. Makes sense to shore up the defense. That's a really hard pick to say, but I think it makes sense. Definitely a toss-up for sure. Greg Newsome. Now, you can't let Greg Newsome drop anymore, and again, Tre'Davious White, Greg Newsome, you're building up a powerhouse and pass defense for the Bills. I think you just go and do that. Josh Allen's been doing pretty good with his offense, so I think they just go based off of that. The Ravens come back up into the draft. They trade up to get that 31 spot again, and the reason why is because I feel like if Dylan Redunds is there, the Bucs will shore up that offensive line to protect Tom Brady for another year. So I think the Ravens kind of noticed that. They are really sold on Dylan Redunds from what I've been actually researching myself. I could be smoke and mirrors. It always could be that, but we never know. But I'm gonna ride the smoke and mirrors and say it's true. And I say they trade back up to get Dylan Redunds, tackle out of North Dakota State, and shore up that missing tackle spot that they just gave to the Chiefs for this spot. And now they're back in it, the same spot, with the craziest of draft trades. This is going to be a crazy draft, I'm telling you guys. And then last but not least, Trayvon Moehrig falls way too far. Shore up that defense. You probably get a potential all-star. Who knows? I want Trayvon Moehrig to go to the Ravens, but I just don't think they're going to wait that long to play that out. I think they'd rather just shore up a secondary safety and work with what they have. So Trayvon Moehrig drops to the Bucs. Can't go wrong with that. And according to Pro Football Focus, they can't either. So... and that's it. So hopefully you guys liked this one, and I know this was a crazy draft, so best we could do is just try our best. So I'll be uploading this ASAP, so hopefully it's updated. Hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, hopefully no more trades happen, right? Fucking ridiculous. Take it easy, guys. You have a great day. And don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe, please. I appreciate it. And follow my Twitch, twitch.tv/x_Braven. If you guys want gaming content and football content, I'm going to be doing a bunch of other shit. So you guys take it easy. I'm out of here. Peace.